with every single opponent I fight here in UFC.
I know the feeling, brother. I really do. It was an honor to share the octagon with you. And if we see you, if we don't see you, we all thank you for everything that you have given us inside the octagon. Thank you, Anderson.
No, thank you, my friend. Thank you for everything. God bless you and your family.
Likewise. Thank you, Anderson.
He has had that respectful attitude for his entire career. Anderson Silva, what a moment, Michael. I feel privileged no matter what lies ahead for him. I mean, you know, obviously he would have liked for a better result, but you know, what a moment to experience perhaps him leaving the octagon for the final time.
Yeah, listen, nobody knows better than Anderson Silva. That's the risk you run. Every time you step inside the octagon, you know, it doesn't matter how good you are, one wrong shot, you can end up losing that fight. You can be the favorite and still lose the fight. And by the way, that sounds disrespectful to Uriah Hall, so I kind of regret saying that. I hope I didn't portray the wrong message. But Anderson, as I just said before, we spoke to him, elusive as ever. You know, 1 second he said there, yeah, that's it, I'm done. So then I asked him to confirm, and he's like, I don't know, maybe. So, you know, listen, Anderson, he will never change. But one thing, he's thrilled us for a long time.
Old enough and wise enough to know you don't want to make a decision in these emotional moments right after a definitive one, because we've seen him go back on that. But what a night.
If it is the last time, God bless.
The Ultimate Fighter. It was literally the future of an entire sport.
What an incredible war! You are the Ultimate Fighter.
World champions have come off this competition.
This is the best moment of my life. Master has shook the world. Rashad Evans! I'm the best welterweight on the planet right now. Champions right in this stuff.
Now, we are back.
This is the toughest tournament this sport has ever seen. All the sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears, it's all coming down to this.
I've always wanted a UFC gold around my waist. Winning the belt would mean everything for me.
This is a gift that I will not take for granted.
Now is your chance. Welcome to the Ultimate Fighter.
They have a mouthpiece, gloves, and a dream. Win or lose, they're going to put it all on the line.
Every one of these fighters believe that this is their time. This is their opportunity to reach out and grab everything they ever dreamed of.
So the question is, do you want to be a fighter?
It doesn't matter where you come from. Sports fans love greatness. This is the guy that everybody is buzzing about.
He has the looks. He has the skill.
He is everything a fight fan loves to see. The speed, total package, and all that skill will be on display.
All right, the Monster is fighting tonight on Halloween. Undefeated IBF and WBA bantamweight champ and one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, Naoya Inoue, defends his belt against 21-1 Jason Maloney in the 12-round main event just across town here in Las Vegas. It's right here on ESPN Plus, so you can check out the boxing after we're done here with the post-show, which is coming up in just moments. And speaking of that, Karen Bryant, Alan Jouban, Rashad Evans, and Megan O'Leary will have you covered much more on the fallout from Anderson Silva fighting for perhaps the final time in the UFC. Of course, Uriah Hall's great main event victory. And all treats, no tricks tonight. 8 finishes. The highlight reel was nonstop for Michael Bisping and Megan O'Leary and our great crew. I'm Brendan Fitzgerald. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Good night from Las Vegas.
I do hear you. I was saying that if anybody
theory. Yeah. Let's hope that's not true. Are you going? I don't know if I'm going to go or not. You know, it's what's the late work? Derek Lewis must have done. Oh, I can go there. That's a little bit how I feel as well. I sort of feel like I've seen that fight without seeing it. You know, I know how that's going to go. I'd like to go to Tyson just to traffic and stuff is obviously the one to choose, but I also think I remember when Chuck and Tito fought the third time, despite the absolute abomination it was, for the moment they got in the ring, I was very like, oh wow. It's only when it started it was horrible. Wrapped in the Pensé en traerlo, ¿no? Pero tú no se lo traes. Oye, lo que te hablas del tiempo, desde el tiempo no perdona, ¿no? Sí, voy. Yo estoy pegando tiros, la verdad.
You know what? I feel like Mayer's been ahead pretty much. Yeah, Rudnick just hasn't showed up yet, you know? But Dana hasn't been by yet. Just FYI, we've had a few people have issues with that box. The one you're plugging in right there. I'd recommend this one if I were you.
Yeah, plug in that one. That one's fine.
I mean, if you want to test them out, go
It's
ahead.
just very fuzzy.
So there's one on that table?
Oh, right up here, right next to me. Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's not forever. You know, no matter how great you are, you can't fight forever.
Try and catch it. Off the bat.
It's not bad.
5 now. I just said I've got 5 to play.
I laugh like in that word, and there's a lot of fucking slang.
So there were 4 performance bonuses tonight. Miles John, Adrian Yanez, Alex Hernandez, and Kevin Holland. They all won $50,000.
What's up, Dana?
Who's got the first question?
Dana,
Hey, Kev.
first of all, can you did you talk to Anderson, and do you know anything about what he's
Anderson's been transported straight to the hospital.
He was, okay.
Yeah.
He keeps saying this is his last fight in the UFC, but he wouldn't say it's his last fight. Period. What do you know about that? And does he have any fights remaining on his UFC contract?
Yeah, he's got one. And we had a deal. When he signed this contract, we had a deal that this would be his last fight. And you know what? The guys, let me put it this way. This week he came out and said in an interview, and I don't know, because I don't trust half these fucking guys in the media and how they set up questions and what they say and everything else. But all I can tell you is what I read, and I know what I usually read is fucking bullshit. So let me start here. That used to be like a family when Lorenzo was here and all that kind of stuff. And listen, we all miss Lorenzo, and I will always admit that Lorenzo was the gentler, kinder side of the UFC. But I've done nothing but be good to Anderson Silva, and tonight I don't feel good about myself that I let Anderson Silva fight this last fight. We've treated Anderson Silva with nothing but respect, and if you guys knew what Anderson Silva gets paid to fight, you'd shit your fucking pants. So I think that we've treated him like family. I shouldn't have let him fight this fight tonight.
But yet, his chin seems to be gone because he seemed like he fought a pretty good fight, and yet when he got touched on the chin is when
He fought a guy that has absolutely zero output. They're in a 5-round main event on ESPN. They threw 11 punches in the fucking second round. Yeah. You break into the, you fight any of these other savages, you know what I mean? He'll be in big trouble, and he'll take a shitload of punishment. Uriah Hall threw 11 punches in the second round. Uriah Hall's one of the most gun-shy fighters in the UFC. And look at Anderson. When the fight was over, he couldn't even stand up to do his interview. He had to sit down to do his interview, and I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have let him fight this fight tonight. But out of respect to him, and he's a legend of this sport, and he's a legend of this company, I did something that I disagreed with, and I knew I was right, and tonight proved I was right, and Anderson Silva should never fight again.
When I talked to him on video the other day and I asked him, and he said definitely final UFC fight, but then he left the door open, jiu-jitsu or boxing or something else. So your contract with him, could you prevent him from doing those other things based on the contract you have?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to prevent him from doing anything. He's a grown man, and he can do what he wants. He's got one fight left with us. I'll never let him fight here again. I want him to retire. And what I hope is when he goes home, his family tells him the same thing. So, at some place, I'm in a really hard position right now because this is a guy that I care about. This is a guy that's been with the company for a long time. He's a legend of this company, and I don't want to just sit up here and shit on him. You know what I mean? But he's almost 46 years old, and unless you're trying to save your fucking life or defend your family, no 46-year-old should be fighting. Period.
And finally, just, can you talk about his significance? You called him a legend several times, but what made him so great when he was in his prime, and why do you think he was so good in the UFC where, he was on that upward trajectory, but he seemed like when he got to the UFC is when he finally just hit the big time? Yeah,
he could do things to people that other people couldn't. He was almost impossible to touch. He would be just on the end of your punch where the leather might just touch you a little bit, and he'd come back with a combination that would either knock you out or almost knock you out. I mean, he used to do some fun stuff. What he did to Vitor Belfort when he fought Vitor, what he did to Rich Franklin. You know, Chris Lieben at the time was undefeated and had an iron chin. He came in and made Chris Lieben look like he had no chin. What he did to Forrest Griffin when he went up to 205. The list just goes on and on of incredible things that he had a messed up rib. The Chael Sonnen fight goes the whole way, and then he submits him, you know, with a couple minutes left in the 5th round. Just legendary fights that Anderson Silva's had here, you know, when he was in his prime. And yeah, so.
I just want to ask one question on just a slightly different topic. I had a number of British fans ask me this. They were saying because the country is going to be locked down again, I guess on Monday, will that affect Leon Edwards, do you know? And will he be able to fight? You know, he hasn't fought for a while, so what impact will that have on Leon?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. You know what's funny? Damian Hurst texted me tonight, you know, that him and his girl were watching the fights, and he told me we're about to go on lockdown again tonight. I didn't even know that. So that was the first I heard of it tonight, and that's a good question, and I'll look into that after the scrum.
Hey, Dana. I remember once you described dealing with Anderson Silva like dealing with an artist, trying to get deals done. Right. Is there a memory of like an incident that you remember where he was just a frustrating artist but kind of fun to deal with? Yeah,
you know, every time we would sit down to do a fight, you know, there was just a process to it. It was never bad. It was never, you know, combative or any of that type of stuff. There was always just a process you had to go through with Anderson. And maybe that's what he means when he says it hasn't felt like family for him, because we haven't gone through any processes lately, you know? I don't know. But yeah, it was always a pleasure dealing with Anderson. It was never bad.
You obviously mentioned you don't want him to fight again. You know there are other promotions that are going to sign him if he wants to go to them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah. Disgusting, and that a commission would let him fight again. It's true, but you know, like I just told Kevin, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants, and I like and I respect the guy, and I just hope his family talks him out of it.
In the co-main event, we had Bryce Mitchell, but I think the real story was the camo shorts. Like, they became a viral sensation themselves. Is that something we could see with the Venom deal? More like single customized shorts for individual fighters?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. Cool.
Tonight, The Ultimate Fighter was finally announced, going to be airing in March. Any further news on the coaches yet?
No coaches yet, no. Cool. We'll get it done, though. Right. I'm always looking for guys that add a lot of value to the kids that we bring onto the show, so we'll get some good guys.
Israel Adesanya was in attendance today, yeah. And he was tweeting out Champ Squared.
Champs what?
Champ Squared, like Champ 2. Is he fighting Jan Blachowicz next?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah. Listen, when the fight was over, on Fight Island, the last fight, I was like, I'm going to have to sit down with this kid and convince him on why he needs to fight Whitaker. And Whitaker comes out and says he doesn't want to fight him. Craziest shit I've ever seen. So, yeah, there's no arguing with Israel now. I thought Whitaker deserved the shot, and Whitaker doesn't want it, so yeah, we'll let him do it.
So, you know, if he that would presumably be in like February or March when we potentially go back to Abu Dhabi, that fight?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where we'll be.
But you know, if he wins the 205-pound title, everyone's...
Listen, man, after how many days we got left? 4 days, 5 days, whatever. After all this wacky shit's over, we'll find out what happens. You know, I think that when the election's over, a lot of shit's going to change.
But if he wins the 205-pound title, then everyone's going to want him to fight John Jones at light heavyweight.
If he wins the 205-pound?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Me too.
Fair enough. Conor McGregor tweeted out, lightweight division incoming, 155 pounds. Any further news on that fight?
Yeah, the fight's done.
It's signed?
I think so, yeah. As far as I know, it's done.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, one more. Mike Perry is out. Robbie Lawler's out of his fight with Mike Perry. Kevin Holland wants to fight him. He wants to fight Hamzat. Do you have an idea of who Mike Perry could fight next?
No, I don't.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right.
Dana over here. I remember once upon a time, George St. Pierre's fighting, Anderson Silva's in the crowd, and it seemed like that was the super fight that was just aligning. How close was that ever in UFC history?
Never. GSP didn't want that fight.
Do you know why?
We had these deals where at that time Anderson Silva was in a very unique position. He could have gone down and fought George St. Pierre. They could have come up with a catch weight, or he could have moved up and a catch weight and did John Jones. Silva didn't want to move up and fight Jones, and GSP didn't want to move up and fight Silva. So none of those fights ever happened.
To talk about Anderson Silva, the GOAT conversation, I know you've been getting a lot of it, Habib and GSP. Just where would you put Anderson all time if there is a
he's one of the
number?
greatest. He's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, I don't know if I could come up with a number, but the more of the sport, as the sport continues to grow and get bigger and bigger and better, you're going to see a lot of great talent coming through the next 5 or 6 years. So, but Anderson Silva is one of the all-time greats. A lot of kids that would have played other sports became mixed martial artists from watching Anderson Silva, and he had a massive impact on this company in Brazil and other parts of the world.
Earlier this week, it came out that you spoke with Habib Nurmagomedov. You said, it sounds like, he will go for number 30. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on just, how the conversation went and the impression you got about his future.
Well, he didn't say that he'll fight at, whatever, but he didn't say no. He's considering the 30-0. His father wanted it, and I think that he was, super emotional, had the mumps, measles, or whatever, broken toe, trained on a stationary bike for that fight, and then came in and fought. And I think that, he was super emotional. So he's still the champ. There's no vacant title open right now or no interim title happening. He's the champ, and we'll give him some time to figure out what he wants to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, Khabib seemed pretty sure that he was going to retire. What kind of feeling do you have that he is, and that you feel pretty good about?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. He said he was going to talk with his mother.
Okay. And then you guys announced that he was the #1 pound for pound. And
we didn't announce that.
Oh, I thought you guys did announce.
No, the media
that.
does.
Okay.
Yeah, the media. You guys do that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's you, but you guys, the media, voted him. He is the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, just that performance with Gaethje, on top of being undefeated and only maybe losing 2 rounds in his entire career. Yeah, I would say he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
John Jones kind of had some thoughts on Instagram, Twitter about that. He made some good points about the number of defenses he had made.
Yeah.
Any
No, I
thoughts
agree.
on Jones?
I've been telling you guys, John Jones is the GOAT forever. He's not the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now, though. But yeah.
Any more conversations with him, and we'll see him next?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Just a couple, Dana. The Bobby Green Thiago Moises fight. Did you agree with that decision? And what did you think about that fight?
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with the decision. It was a good fight. Went back, told Bobby. Bobby had a nice little gash on his eyebrow. It was a good fight.
And the other one is Kevin Holland. I thought he had a great performance as well.
Incredible.
What are your thoughts on him? And you got him going over to the cage, jawing with Izzy on the outside. Is there any possibility when something like that happens? Is there a possibility that he can maybe leapfrog a little bit? And is that up to the champ? If the champ wanted him,
No.
could he possibly hop in there?
No. I mean, listen, that kid's funny. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. But yeah, to leapfrog up to Israel Adesanya, no, I wouldn't do that to him anyway. I like Kevin Holland. he needs some time. You know what I mean? He needs some time. But listen, he looked impressive tonight. That kid came out and hit him with some big shots. He grabbed onto him. And for those of you that were sitting in there, he slammed the shit out of that guy. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've heard a slam that hard. I was like, I mean, I don't even know what to compare it to. Tito Evan Tanner? A couple of guys got slammed in my career.
Dan Henderson when he got slammed by Cormier.
Yeah, that was a nasty one too. But I don't even know. But the difference was, he picked him up and slammed him. Cormier did. Kevin Holland came down on top of him with all of his weight, like Tito and Evan Tanner. I'm trying to think of the ones that, when they've happened, that I've actually been, oh shit. Like it fucking made me sick, like deep inside my fucking core. You know what I mean? that's what tonight was with those slams. Both slams that Holland slammed him with were scary.
And lastly, Greg Hardy, I was going to get your thoughts on his progression in the sport, and what did you think of his performance tonight?
He looked good tonight. And I think that the ref made a great stoppage. I know he was upset about the stoppage, but I thought it was a great stoppage. And Hardy looked good, man. He hurt him, took his time, caught him, hurt him, and then went in for the kill and finished the fight. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Dana, just to clarify something, will you release Anderson from his contract? Since you're saying he doesn't.
I don't know. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm not going to do anything to hurt Anderson Silva. He's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants to do. Well, I can't say I'll release him from his contract, but we'll figure something out. I don't know.
Just Chito Vera had an interview today, and he said he's expecting to fight Jose Aldo on the December 19th card. Is that a done deal, or is that a fight that you want to see?
Who is?
Chito Vera. He said
Chito Vera?
Yeah, he said he's expecting to fight Jose Aldo on December 19th.
So Jose Aldo hit me up the other day and was asking me a bunch of questions, and I shot it over to the matchmakers. I don't know what they got done.
Did you like to see that fight?
Sure.
For Chito?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Happy Halloween.
Good. What's up, mate? Just done it. What's more important to you, the win or the fact you finally got to wear the camo shorts?
The win's always more important, man. I got to provide, and, that comes first, but the camo shorts, it means a hell of a lot to me.
It's pretty incredible, right? Because the UFC would usually make exceptions for big stars and main event stars, but you're a guy on the rise, and they move mountains, I guess, to get this done for you. That must make you feel like they have a lot of faith in you.
They certainly moved some mountains to get this done. It was no easy task, and then I think it was because I was so passionate about it, and I ain't never asked for an extra penny. I ain't never asked for nothing, man. I just asked for camo shorts. That's it. And so that tells you that they mean something to me. I'm not up here asking for money or free passes or this or that. I just wanted my camo shorts because it means a lot to me. And I'm so glad they made it happen.
Are you nervous that when they switch to Venom, you're going to have to go through all this again?
I'm ready to give Venom some hell.
The fight itself, how do you evaluate your performance? How did you think he was? How did you take the fight?
I could have done better in certain positions. He flying kneed me. I didn't want that to happen. I broke my hand in the first round and kept swinging with it. I was like, the hell with it. I'm going to keep throwing it. I knew something was wrong with my hand, and, I just envisioned myself doing better.
Do you know how you broke it? I mean, obviously punching him, but do you know when you broke it?
I think it was on an overhand left.
Yeah. So how, obviously you need to get it x-rayed and stuff, but that looks like a lengthy period of time away to rest up now?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a little while off. I mean, I ain't got no choice, so you won't see me in here for a little while, but I'm going to heal up the best I can and come back as strong as I can.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Bryce, over here, just to talk about it. You've had quite a run already in the UFC. You've built a name for yourself very quickly. Just how would you evaluate just your growth so far in 2020?
I keep getting better every fight, and every fight there's something else that I feel like I did wrong, and I want to fix it, and I'm just going to keep trying to improve myself as much as I can and heal my body right now because I got some healing to do.
The coach for the Arkansas basketball team was showing support. There were some kids in Arkansas. Apparently, they were Bryce Mitchell today. I mean, what does that mean to you if you could put it into words?
It means everything to me, man. I'm so glad to have people supporting me and cheering me on. It means the world to me.
If a kid doesn't have the camo shorts, what should he have to complete his Bryce Mitchell costume?
I know he's got to go beat some people up for candy or something, man. He's got to do something crazy. No, man, the camo shorts are not whatever. You just get the gloves on and look mean, man.
Congrats.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Are y'all taking any, can I say stuff right now, or does it go anywhere? Yeah. Well, this is the only time that I have a platform to say something, and I've had something on my mind. It's affected me and a lot of people that I love, and I'm going to take a lot of criticism for saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways because I feel it needs to be said. I was driving by elementary school the other day, and I seen all these kids outside. They're trying to play on the playground. They're trying to run around. They're trying to swing on the monkey bars, go down the slide, and wrestle and play tag, and they all got masks on. And I see them out there, some of them taking their mask off so they can breathe fresh air. They get fresh air in their lungs when they take the mask off. And then you got a teacher walking around pointing at them saying, oh, put your mask on, put your mask on, put your mask on. And that makes me sick that these kids can't get fresh air, and they're 8 hours a day. They're sitting 6 feet apart from each other, and they can't breathe fresh air. I don't agree with that. And I just want to tell Asa Hutchinson, I think you need to have a little bit of backbone because we did not vote for none of that. There was no vote that said we want our kids in masks, we want to wear masks, we want our businesses shut down, we want our restaurants at half capacity, we want our gyms at half capacity. And I just don't know who he thinks he is telling us that we have to shut down our businesses or shut our businesses to half capacity without a vote. There was no vote. And if he likes shutting down people's businesses and he likes telling people what to do, he can go to California because they'll love him over there. That's what they do over there. The government's all up in people's business over there, and we don't want to live like that. And I'm just asking to get our freedoms back, and I don't think that's much to ask for. What I'm saying is make the mask optional in Arkansas. For people who own restaurants and people who own businesses, make it optional. Why tell somebody they have to wear a mask? What if they don't want to, or what if it affects their breathing negatively and gives them headaches? You know? And here's another theory I got. If your mask works so well, why are you worried about if I'm wearing one? Don't you got one on? Why does it matter? If they work so good, why are you worried if I got one? You wear one and you worry about you. Okay? And if you think you're going sick, stay home. If you think you're going to get sick, stay home. That's all I'm saying. And I think that taking away our liberties and taking away our freedoms without a vote, I don't think that's the right answer. And there's going to be a lot of criticism and a lot of people attacking me for saying that. And they're going to say I'm a dumb MMA fighter and I got no sense sharing my opinion. But you know what? I pay my taxes. So you're going to tell me you can take that money out my pocket, tens and thousands of dollars out my pocket that I fought for, and you're going to take it out my pocket and then discredit my opinions and say I don't have an opinion? No, I do have an opinion, and it does matter. And if you put it on the vote, I guarantee you more people in Arkansas agree with me than they do masks for everybody. All I'm saying is make it optional. Let the people have a choice. There's single moms that are waitresses, okay? And you're they got kids, okay? They got kids to feed. They're moms that are waitresses, okay? No dads. And the restaurants are at half capacity. That's half their paycheck. You're affecting people's lives, Asa Hutchinson. Open up our restaurants to full capacity. Open up our gyms to full capacity, or at least give us a vote. But personally, I like the government the hell out of my life. And, you know, like I said, there's going to be people criticizing me. But I feel that needed to be said. And I like breathing in fresh air. And if kids' parents want them to wear a mask, that's fine. But don't tell everybody that they have to wear a mask just because you want to. You know, more people die in car wrecks than the corona in Arkansas. In Arkansas, it claims to have killed 270 people. The CDC claims 270 people have died of corona. Way more people died in car wrecks. But the interstates ain't shut down. How come you ain't shut down the interstates, Asa? Okay? Let us drive at our own risk. Let us go to Walmart at our own risk. Let us do stuff at our own risk. That's all that I'm saying, and I don't think that that's too much to ask for. You know, so say what you want about me, but I had to say that, and this is the only platform I have to say any stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that I love that this is affecting negatively. It's affecting their businesses. It's taking money out of their pockets. So I can't sit here and have this platform and say nothing. So I had to say something, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the platform to say something. Thank you.
Congratulations, Uriah. Is it accurate? Did you apologize and say I'm sorry after you knocked him out when you guys were down there?
Yeah. I told him I was sorry for knocking him out.
It just, I mean, it speaks to the respect that Anderson has engendered, but can you say in your own words why you felt the need to say that to him?
I felt bad. Yeah, I felt bad, man. I mean, leading up to the fight, there was a lot of emotions, and we all know Anderson is a G and what he's done for the sport. So a guy like me that he inspired years ago as a kid, or beat him up and potentially kill him, it was weird. So yeah, right after the event, all the emotions just came out. I mean, even today, I woke up like fighting it, like shit. How am I gonna deal with this? But yeah. I said, I'm sorry.
You know, he gave you some difficulty in the first couple of rounds. He was landing some kicks and whatnot. What makes him a difficult opponent? Obviously, he's not a prime Anderson Silva now, but you were in the cage with him for almost 20 minutes. What makes him a difficult opponent to fight?
What makes Anderson so difficult is his creativity. He's very creative. So it's easy to get lost in that. And, you know, we've seen him throughout his career just go out there and just dismantle people, and just how he does it very fashionably. So it was risky. And my coach always just tell me, listen, follow the basics. It's easy to get lost in that. I kind of have the same stylistic style. I go out there, I try to have a little fun too, but we decided to keep it simple. And that's what I was trying to do.
Did you have moments where you saw an opening and then didn't let it go because you were wary maybe he had set some trap?
Up, he kept moving a certain way. I'm like, all right, he has a game plan. Let me feel it. Let me figure it out. But he threw a couple of punches, and I was like, wait a minute, I can see his punches. So his range was good. I remember trying to hit him with straight techniques, and I'm like, I can't touch him. So I was like, well, maybe I got to wait for him to counter. It was just so much going on in there. But I was just looking for an opening, but his range was really well. He kept moving to the right. I didn't want to overlap and go into that because I know he would have set me up. I just felt faster.
And finally, you know, it was interesting the way you reacted compared to Kevin Holland saw Adesanya sitting there, and he's up over the top of the cage, and he was chirping at Adesanya down there. And I don't think you ever looked in this direction. That's a guy, obviously, you have on your mind. Did you have any feelings that he was sitting there, and did you was it good to get a knockout win in front of the champions as a reminder of, hey, this is what I'm capable of doing?
Oh yeah, well, I know he danced with Anderson, and I was the guy that finished it, regardless of what everyone's going to say, whether it's an age factor, which Anderson never believes. I mean, it starts here. It's like COVID. For me, COVID starts here. I mean, I've been going through this whole fucking year with COVID. People that I know, people I've trained with, And everyone's like, "Oh, be careful, bro." I'm like, dude, the moment I started giving this shit power, I lost. Yeah, there's something going around, but it's basic, man. Just stay clean and stay away from motherfuckers. Like, how hard is that? So, but no, you know, he's the champ. He did what he had to do to get to where he is. There's respect. I knew he was out here. My guess is he was trying to either see holes in me or potentially give Anderson another rematch. Either way is fine. I felt like I did a little sloppy out there. My coaches said something else, but I'm my worst critic. But no, I got nothing bad to say to the champ.
Hey, right. Obviously, a win over Anderson Silva is an incredible thing to have on your resume, but I'm curious, does the interaction you had with him in the cage after the fight mean as much to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, after the fight, we shared a moment, and it's a very honorable moment for a lot of martial artists that out there would see and understand. I'd say probably 2/3 of people who are watching this will never understand that, and that's fine. But the fact that a guy like that took me from, I don't know, a younger youth saying, "Oh, I can be creative like that. Oh, I can potentially train with a person like that," to stepping in front of him and competing against him and beating him, it was an incredible moment. And I fought that moment for a while, and I mean, I fought the, what's the word I'm looking for, emotions leading up to this fight. So right then and there, I just had to let it all go.
And I'm sure, you know, you're going to have to take some time to digest this, but you will have, Dana White's confirmed it, you have the honor of being Anderson Silva's last UFC fight. That's something no one can ever take away from you. That's going on your resume as a separate thing in itself. What does that mean?
I mean, there's nothing to boast about. You know, it's not like, yeah, I don't see anything to boast about. It was an incredible moment we both shared. 4 minutes, well, 4 rounds. It was just an incredible moment. I have nothing to even say to that. It's like, all right, you know?
When you were, oh, sorry,
What up? Yeah, you good.
when you were in the ring with him, you guys had, that special moment you're talking about, and he was talking into, it sounded like he was giving you advice or something. What did he say to you in those moments?
Man, he was just telling me to, train your mind. Anderson is a little detached from this whole BS, man. I get where he's coming from. He keeps saying that it's not about fighting. I get that. A lot of people don't understand that. It's about that moment, but it's hard for right now where the sport is, where you guys just capitalize on the title. You guys will never get that. So I see where he's coming from, where it's about that moment you share, and it is. I will never get that moment back. Those, what? How long was that? 12 minutes, whatever? I will never get that back. So he's talking more about that, and I guess as you get older in the sport, you're more focused on that. It's like, all right, what's more important now? Family, friends, loved ones, shit that really matters. So I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, he was still dangerous. But he was just pretty much telling me, you can be world champ, and thank you. He was thanking me, and I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And he was just saying, train your mind and to be a better version of yourself, pretty much. And I admired that, and no one could ever take that away from me. To me, that I gave that so much leverage to say that was like my championship fight, because I looked up to him so long, and to share that moment in the octagon, which I guess is potentially his last, was pretty cool.
Can anything beat this besides winning the championship belt?
I say it would be right next to it. It's kind of like that hump to say, hey, you're here, bro. Make that jump, and you can fly. Like, all right, I'll do it.
Just a couple quick questions. There was a moment right after the fight was stopped. You sat down on your knees and you look up, and I was trying to gauge what was going through your head right at that moment, the emotion that was going through you. I don't know if you can recall that moment and what was going through your head right at that moment when the fight was stopped.
When I sat down?
Yeah, when you sat down on your knees. It was almost like you were paying an honor to him, but there was something in your eyes that I was just wondering what was going through your head right at that moment.
I was definitely paying respect. The old Shido way, you turn around, you take a knee, and my coach safe reminded me of that. And we talked about it too, if that happened, to do that out of respect, which that was me being respectful. But it was just all the emotions coming in, and I'm like, dude, don't do it, don't cry, don't be a bitch. What are you doing, dude? Right now, don't hold that shit in. And it was just everything rushing in. The entire year of training, I mean, literally trained for a year. The pandemic, the ups, the downs, the living in the gym, the fights that fall out, the losing motivation, the finding motivation, the losing weight, to lose the mindset, to get back in it, everything right then and there just came out.
With the sport sort of changing, you see a lot more trash talking to make fights happen and all this other stuff happening. Do you feel, in the sense, if this is the last time we see Anderson fight, will there be a void, in the sense, in the MMA of the honor and the martial arts aspect that Anderson and that crop brought? And do you feel that it's maybe upon yourself and some others to keep that alive and keep that going, because such an icon that brought that to the sport is stepping away?
As great as that sounds, it's not going to happen. I mean, if you really want me to be real, since I like being real, I mean, we make stupid people famous. I can get out there and talk some shit and all of a sudden I'm famous. What's that Catch Me Outside chick? Remember that girl who disrespected her mom on TV and she became famous from that? I'm a grown-ass man. My mom will whoop my ass if I say some dumb shit like that. But that's the day and age we live in. And I'm not being specific to anybody. But personally, I believe that, and I think Denzel Washington said this, you read the news, you're misinformed, and if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. So I feel like the media owe it to set the record straight with the right news, but nobody cares. And for a guy like me that cares, because I'm real, I struggled with it. And I became angry, and I became saying, fuck you guys. But that's the way the game works. It's gonna work like that, because we're heading that way. It sells. Regardless of what I wanna say, it sells. It's more entertaining for someone to go out there and sell a fight by belittling someone or saying something. It sells. And it doesn't mean I have to do it, but I get it. It's gonna sell. So I owe it to myself to be myself. And to answer your question, I don't think it's gonna change, but I do think that it's important to remember who you are and represent yourself well. And hey, if you're not getting what you need to get to where you need to be, maybe talk some shit. But I say go out there and beat the shit out of someone first, and then you have more leverage to do it.
Thank you very much.
And that's all, folks. Thank you very much for coming in to the Primetime Special. You guys have a great evening and go home safe.
I know that there's a, I can't figure it out.